Knights of Apollo. What's up, guys? I'm super excited for this video because the time has arrived. I can finally talk about my playthrough or my playing experience of Kingdome Come Deliverance 2. So, of course, if you guys missed it, I released a video of me going to Prague. That was for a trip to play Warhorse Studios' new game, Kingdome Come Deliverance 2. So we went to Kuttenberg, and that is where the event was, and it was so much fun. It was so awesome, and guys, I'm so pumped that I've been holding it in for so long that I can finally talk about just the game. And just to not leave you on a cliffhanger, I'm just gonna come out and say it. The game is everything I hope for and more. It's going to be a grand medieval adventure, so much bigger, so much more compared to the first one. And guys, the first one is a masterpiece with all things considered. Their budget and how they were just like a new company. The first one's amazing, but this new one is gonna make the first one seem like child's play, and I mean that with complete respect for the first one. The second one is just, it feels so much grander. We'll get into more detail about my gameplay experience, but I also have an exclusive interview with Tobi from Warhorse Studios. I don't know if you can call it exclusive. He did a lot of interviews, but I did an interview with Tobi from Warhorse Studios where we kind of talk about the game a little bit more in depth. And again, remember, the game's coming out right around the corner, the beginning of next year, 11th of February. So we got a couple months till the game comes out, but it's going to be worth the wait. This was during an event at Kuttenberg. I showed a little bit of that event in my trip video to Prague. Again, if you haven't seen it, check it out. But now I can talk about what exactly we did. So we went into this beautiful museum. It's like an art museum. The building itself, though, is a piece of art that is just beautiful. And they had all their computers. I have some photos of it. They had all their computers in this room. And Tobi, he just kind of talked about what we're going to play, what they're working on. And it was really cool to be there with all these great people and play the game. So here's me playing the game. This snapshot, I think we were looking at the main menu screen. Now, if you remember, I didn't get much sleep. So I think this is just like, we're having fun. It looks like we're in a trance here looking at the game. But what we were able to play, we played the introduction to the game. So like how it's going to start, which is really cool because I was always kind of wondering, how are they going to do this? It's always kind of confusing or interesting how a RPG game kind of goes on with a sequel, because you already have a character that you've developed and trained, and now you have to kind of start over. And it's like, how do you approach that? And I think they do that a very good job. I'm not going to go into too much because I know, like, I don't want to spoil anything for you. So I'm going to just show you limited gameplay footage. This is, by the way, this is not my footage. This is, they provided us B-roll footage. But I think they do a great job of reintroducing everything. So even if you didn't play Kingdome Come Deliverance 1, if you hop into 2, you'll kind of get a background, an optional background of what you did in the first one, through dialogue, through, you know, I think mostly through dialogue. But the introduction to this game is really good. It's really interesting. Like, it's not boring. It's not you're going through the ropes. I think there's a lot of fun quests that help you get back into the role of Henry, gonna train you again with sword fighting and various other quests. So I think it's a great introduction that is very smooth and gets you started on your epic medieval adventure. And when I said earlier that everything feels bigger, it's 100% true. Everything feels better too. I know some people were critical of the combat in the first one. They felt it was a little janky. I personally liked it, but they've made so many improvements to the fighting mechanics. It's much more smoother. It feels less janky. But yet still feels like historical fighting. You know, it's not, they didn't make it so it's like it pulls you out of it. It's still immersive combat. They said they had many more animators that were able to work on different moves, where in the first one, I think they only had one animator work on the sword fighting. So it was nice to have, like, you know, it's nice to have many people working on the animation, so it feels very different when you're using different weapons and different moves. It was really awesome to see the variety of weapons as well. There's a couple missions of like a little bit of a siege, which you can see some of the gameplay here. You can use the crossbow at the start, and it was really fun using that crossbow and reloading it and just seeing the mechanicalness of the crossbow, how it worked in the game. Another big noticeable thing from the first one compared to the second one is the lip sync. I think they've kind of improved the technology with the actual capturing of, because they act out these scenes live, like real time, the actual actors. So the capture of the lip sync, and it just feels more fluid. It feels more realistic compared to the first one. So they really made some great leaps and bounds in terms of the capture technology, and you can really see it in the gameplay that we experienced. The graphics, of course, looked amazing. The world just feels so much bigger. Basically to what, and we kind of go into detail in the interview, but I'll briefly explain, like, this game is essentially what they wanted to create from the beginning. Now, that's not to say, and again, I'm not ranking on the first one is amazing. It is truly amazing what they accomplished. The fact that they started with a Kickstarter, it was funded successfully. Many Kickstarters are funded successfully and it leads to nothing. And they built, with their limitations, they built a masterpiece. The first one is absolutely, of course, like, everybody knows and loves it. It was extremely popular, and that is why they're able to make such a monster of a sequel, because of how successful the first one is. But I'm telling you guys, when you play this game, it's gonna be hard to go look at the first one because it's gonna feel so much smaller. And again, I'm not ranking on the first one. I'm just saying that's how much bigger and better the second one is going to be. So I don't really want to make this video super long, and I don't want to sound repetitive. So in a nutshell, guys, Kingdome Come Deliverance 2, from what I played, and remember, it's still a work in progress. You know, there's many months more until they complete the game. Not like a ton of months, but you know what I'm talking about. Kingdome Come Deliverance 2, it's bigger, it's smoother, and it's more immersive. I think in a nutshell, that's how you can describe the difference between Kingdome Come Deliverance 2 and the first one. Tobi described it that they're not just making a game that's a game. Like, they're making an experience. And I think they did that 100%. From what I played, it's an experience. It's more than just a game. He kind of compared it to Red Dead Redemption 2, where Red Dead Redemption 2 is an experience, and they're kind of capturing that. They're making more than just a game. They want you to go on. I think they described it as like a novel, as like a book. Like, you're getting lost and immersed in a story with characters that you hate, love, or maybe you hated at the beginning and then you end up loving, kind of like Hans in the first one. It's a big book. It's a novel that you are going to enjoy. Don't rush through it. I mean, you could do what you want, but I'm not going to rush through it. I'm going to enjoy every little detail, and I'm going to immerse myself in this story. And when the time comes and I'm on the final episode and I watch the credits roll, I'm going to have that same feeling probably when I finish a big book. And I think, well, now what? You know, I'm sad. All these characters I can't experience them. Well, of course, you can always replay the game, you know, but there's nothing like the first time, you know. That's about it, guys. Again, I give it a 10 out of 10 from what I played, you know, for an early access build. I loved it. I was having so much fun, and I just want to close this video and just express my complete gratitude to Warhorse Studios. Not only did they invite me to this event, they thought of me, which is, I cannot tell you how thankful and grateful I am for that. I cannot express how happy I am for the success they're having. A genuine company, guys. I mean, I'm talking about great people. They care about history. They care about their country. They care about making a great game. Anyways, let's end it there. I'm going to go ahead and show you the exclusive interview I had with Tobi. Just a heads up. Remember, I was sleep deprived, and I think I got like 4 hours within a span of like 40+ hours of being up. So if I seem a little tweaky, if I seem a little weird. I probably was like fighting back a panic attack, but at the same time, I was really enjoying the interview, so it was kind of strange. But anyways, enjoy the interview. Thank you for watching, and of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it, and I'm excited. But be excited. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is the hero that we deserve and what we need. So, yeah.
All right, we're here with Tobi from Warhorse Studios, talking about the second Kingdom Come Deliverance. And just do a quick interview about the game. And I've played a little bit. I think it's amazing. But what's going into this game? What's one thing that you didn't expect? What's one thing that kind of surprised you about the game?
Of KCD2 or KCD in general?
I guess with 2, but yeah, in general.
But shouldn't I ask the question you? What did surprise you?
What surprised me? From what I played, it looks beautiful. It almost feels grander when you play the game.
Exactly.
I mean, it was even when the trailer came out, I was like, wow, it just massive from what I saw. And then I went back to play the first one. I'm like, it feels tiny now. Where when I first played it, it felt amazing.
Yeah.
So I think the scale, the graphics look great, and seems like the animations, the voice, the syncing.
Yes. I think for me it's really it's really an evolution of KCD. Definitely, it's not a revolution. We're not changing. We're not reinventing the wheel or something. So we stay very true to what makes KCD a very unique game. I think on the market, and we want generally Warhorse to be a developer known for specific type of game. So I think that is something that we're trying to establish right now. But we took everything from KCD1 and might try to make it bigger and better. I know that's a phrase so many people use, but it's really an evolution of everything. This now, I think, is the culmination of, well, what is it now? It's almost 2014 is when everything started with KCD1. It released 25, so the culmination of 11 years of thinking about Kingdom Come Deliverance, because KCD2 is now really the thing that we always wanted to make, couldn't because of reasons. It was the first game. We had to try a lot of stuff, trial and error and so on.
Yeah.
I mean, the result was great and was received positively, which is good. But now we can really take what worked, rework what didn't work, and step up the game and lift it to the next level.
Right, because you have more resources and experience.
Yes, experience I think is the biggest thing here. So and feedback, of course. So the combat, for instance, is something that I think is the most prominent of the features. Of course, KCD is not a combat game, and it's still not a combat game, but combat is a huge feature in the game which you can use if you want.
Right.
And this is something we streamlined a lot. So it's not dumped down or something. It's still the combat from KCD, but we have way more advisors and animators to make sure that every weapon feels differently, have different play styles. If you want to go deep into combat, take the sword and do all the tricks and repos and I don't know what. But if you feel like that's too much for you and don't want to invest the time, then just take a hammer and an axe and whack the enemy on the helmet.
Or a dagger and sneak up on them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we just want to give you a wider variety of tools you can use to push Henry and the story forward.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's it. Again, I only did a little bit of combat, but it definitely feels more fluid and more like polished. As a big history fan, and I think a lot of people who watch love history, was the sense of your own like love for your country really push this game? Because personally, it's like I knew about the Hussites and the history a little bit, but this game, and this is why I love historical games, because they push you to learn more. And it's like, whoa, what's this? And it's cool to see these real life characters and everything. So how much was that? Because like I guess you could have done a game about the 100 Years' War or something. So.
Well, everything is about that, absolutely, 100%. So when Daniel Wawra, the creative director, and the first KCD existed, or the imagination of KCD existed before Warhorse Studios existed. So he knew that he wants to make a game about knights, about Czech history. It's Czech because he is Czech and we are living in this country, so it makes sense. It's closer to us. We can take a part from history and try to show it to the world, plus set in a fictional story of Henry, son of a blacksmith. But absolutely, the premise is to make it as realistic and authentic as possible. and it's all around us. The Middle Ages are a big deal here in Czech Republic. There's a lot of history going around in all of the cities. Luckily, it wasn't bombed away, so it's really deeply rooted in the minds here of the people. It was the greatest era of Czech Republic when they the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire was sitting in Prague. So it was really a big thing. And we wanted to tell a story that is based on a real story, but also has not all those fantasy elements that are in most other games. Because most of the people, or many people, know the Middle Ages from movies and pop culture, and they're always dark, and people have bad black teeth, and everyone is dying. And we said, but this is not how it was. The people, of course, had pride in themselves. And when they were wealthy, of course they wanted to show off. And of course they had good teeth, because the diet was different. There was no candy or something that would wreck the teeth and so on. So this is the big motivation. And here in Czech Republic, this is really becoming a phenomenon. And this sounds a bit like arrogant or something. I don't mean it like that differently, but KCD is for Czech Republic something like The Witcher for Poland. So we are creating a game that is going beyond being just a regular video game. So it's a cultural thing. Politics want to get involved in that, not to do politics, but to represent Czech Republic to the world, to the Czech mint who's doing the Czech currency, the Czech crown. They reached out to us saying, "Hey guys, you do this game, do you want to make a commemorative coin or something?" And I said,
holy crap.
Okay, cool. The mayor of Kuttenberg, the city of Kuttenberg, when they found out that KCD2 will take place here, he was absolutely bonkers and immediately invited us to go to all the places. The area we are right now here today, where we can do the preview event, is because they know what kind of game we are doing, and they want to have it here, and they want to invite the journalists and show off. So the clergy invited us to shoot our preview event with horses and everything in the church or outside the church. So this shows you that the people here are really identifying with the project, and it's more it's not only a video game anymore, but it's becoming a cultural thing here.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really stood out is it got a lot of pushback by certain journalists, certain messages they wanted, and I love the integrity, and it's like, this is the history, you know. And I guess for my final question is, someone who's returning to the game, what do you want them to take away from it the most?
Returning,
like a player returning.
So what I like a lot about KCD2 is that the story is darker and deeper, and it's not superficial anymore. I don't say that the story of KCD1 was superficial, but Henry was dealing a lot with bandits and rural places and some problems from villages and so on. But now he's being dragged on the big stages among kings and armies, and he's part of a partisan group that is trying to sabotage the invading king and so on. So the stakes are higher, the problems are bigger, and Henry will be put in front of crossroad decisions. And maybe I can spoil you a tiny little bit. He and his gang is trying to attack a certain place. But if they go full force ahead, he might endanger the mission, and he might endanger his mates. So he will be forced to think if he should do a very, very unpopular choice and attack someone who's innocent in order to lure out the garrison.
Right.
But this puts him into a situation moral dilemma, but it puts him into the situation. He was in the same situation in the beginning of KCD1. Silver Skulls is just a village, right? He was this boy that got attacked because someone decided it's a good idea to attack the civilians to lure out someone else, right? And now he's putting into the position where he has to do these decisions, right? So I think this moral fighting that is now going on in himself, he's understanding why bad things are happening. Well, war is always a bad thing, but why certain decisions are being made, why we are in the situation that's going on in the world, and he's put right in the center of that. So this is what I think is very interesting of KCD2, and generally what I want the players to, once they play the game and try the game, is that yes, this is an immersive game, and they think it's believable and plausible what they saw there, and people should hopefully, knocking on wood, take this as the closest you can get to the Middle Ages, at least in video games.
Yeah, and that's what I got from the first one. But yeah, that's my question. I appreciate the time, and
You're very welcome. Thank you.
I'm super excited for this to come out. It's coming out February 11th.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, and
Thank you
have a
very
good
much.
one.
Take care, guys.